Yo, what's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another 7 Listens Grand Cross video. For this, we're going over the leaky pipes, and we're going to be talking about them in full detail. Did you say leaky pipes? I didn't see shit, CM Gold. I mean, it's news. It's factual information news. I would never broadcast leaky pipe information. No, I don't know anything about leaks. What are leaks? That's what I thought, bitch. Bye, CM Gold. Thanks for coming. Bitch, there's news right now. Let's do it. We got fucking leaks. Let's go, baby. Without further ado, let's go and jump right into it. In the most recent update that we just got, one of the things that just got added was the most recent, all the way up to almost the most recent JP content. We got all the way up to the most recent story mode. All the assets that were required, like the Sariel stuff for his abilities. We got things for Bond, for Final Boss Bond. We got things for the Evil Lilia event. We got other things for other Evil Lilia event, the summer event for JP. Everything got added to those packets. So what's really interesting, since we got so much stuff, what I really think is going to happen is that they're going toward what's called the convergence. So because they added so much stuff and they added everything, what they're trying to do at this point is line up event content where Global and JP have the same event-based content. That's what I think is going to happen going forward. They already kind of did that with the swimsuit event, where we had a swimsuit event on Global, where we also had a swimsuit event on JP, and they lined up the swimsuit event kind of nicely with both, but they were different events. But the JP got one of the assets second, and they actually and Global got the tavern first. We kind of already had that happen once. So because this is happening, we're actually going to start event content. It's going to be on both versions. That's not going to be identical, but it's going to be very similar, which is really cool to see. What I expect on the Halloween event, it's going to be very similar to the one for the summer event. And some of the leaks we're going to be talking about today are for the Halloween event. Some of the leaks are for other things. But it's really cool to see that there are a lot of assets being intermingled. So before we go into the leaks any further, I do want to make sure that you guys know that. But before we talk about these leaks, of course, it is important to know that none of these are coming like next week. None of these are coming next month. We don't know anything about release dates. What we do know is that there's a probable order what's going to happen, and these are things that they have for a long-term game plan for the next 2 to 3 months, and what you should expect over that time frame. Not something that you should expect next week. You should ask when these things are happening, because these are just assets added to the game. They're just things that you should know based around what are the things that could be happening. So let's go into it. So, in today's news, we have to move over my camera because it's not centered and it was bothering me. And I'll put chat on the screen. Here you go, chat. Chat's on the screen now. They're all happy about it. Cool. All right, in today's news, we got, of course, a couple things that have been leaked. The first of which is going to be the icon for the final boss. We got Bon and Elaine event, which is super weird because that means potentially that final boss Bon and Elaine is next and not final boss Deanne. Don't really understand why that's in the game. Don't really understand why they added an asset that happened much later on this instead of the final boss Deanne. So that's super weird to me. I don't understand this, but potentially it could be the next final boss, even though the next final boss is Deanne. So I'm actually kind of worried, and I don't really get that. But because of that, there is another character that does come out with that, and that is a very interesting unit. And this could be a semi-leak for this, but we're going to go over this in just a bit. First off, we of course have the icon for the exchange shop for the Evil Lilia event. As I said, it's probably going to be happening close to the end of September, probably in about 2 weeks from today. So most likely around, I believe, the 14th, I want to say. What is that for dates? The 5th, either the 8th or the 15th, potentially later this month. At latest, probably the 22nd, but most likely the 15th, because that makes the most sense to me. The Evil Lilia event, I will have videos about this event prior to the event to give you a preparation guide on what to expect for specific things, so you'll be able to see that pretty soon. I'll put that out in the next day or two. Next up, of course, we have new assets leaked for Shin. Shin has been added into the game files. He is one of the characters that is going to get added. He is a very cool unit, and I will be going over him in just a bit, as well as the #1 waifu in the game, It's Mono, and I will have a showcase for Mono coming out really soon as well. I'll put out a showcase tomorrow for Mono. I have it almost all done and edited, so I'll give you guys a showcase to see exactly what she looks like, how she does in PvP, etc. And I'm one of the few people that have it done, so it's a very expensive character to get done and really difficult to use. And she works really well if you use her correctly, but she works very poorly if you don't. So otherwise, we give her a full showcase for her. She's really cool. She is definitely the #1 waifu though. She is super hot. Next up, of course, one of the things we got added to the game, of course, are the Halloween events. And as I said, the Halloween event is most likely going to occur after all the anniversary stuff. It's going to be all the way through anniversary, and then most likely sometime in October, most likely October 1st, I want to say, or potentially, let me go look down on the date schedule here. I'm thinking the actual Halloween event is going to start either on September 29th or most likely October 6th. That's my guess on the Halloween event. My hard guess is like October 6th because it makes the most sense for it to be mostly through the month of October. The 13th and the 20th are the weeks after that, and then the 27th is the week after that. And I believe it's the week of the 30th for actual Halloween. And it's almost a whole month-long event from what I remember on JP because it's a two-part event. There's actually 2 parts initially. So my assumption is if it's going to go through all of the month of October, it's going to go be on the 6th through the 19th on the first part of the event. And the second part of the event is going to be the 20th all the way through the 3rd of November. It's a very long event because there are 2 parts to it. The first part is really cool. The second part is also really cool. So I'm really excited for this. I'm hoping that we're going to get some fun things on it. It's, again, a whole month-long event, and there's a whole town along with it as well. Very cool. And I did play the Halloween trailer in a previous video. Link to that video over there if you want to check out some of the missing content we have on Global. It goes over the Halloween trailer as well. And the last bit of news here, we have assets mined for, of course, Easton. Really cool. We have some Easton assets that have been mined. I'm excited about this. Some other things that have been mined as well. There's actually one more thing. Green Easton was also data mined from her actual cards. Now, what I want to let players know before they get all hyped up and say Green Easton's coming next week, and of course the video, Green Easton is coming? ? Basically, what happens when a character is added, they add all the different variants of the character. So they'll add in different data files, like they'll add in this image here that also go along with the blue Easton as well. They'll add in different assets for different characters so you can kind of see them. Gives you a kind of a well-rounded opinion of like, oh, okay, they're all packaged together. They also did the same thing for Mono, where they added in her swimsuit cosmetic as well. So like adding in these types of things really just bring out a different level to the game. And they also, of course, added in the waifu Roxy, because Roxy, hello waifu, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, what's up, girl? So Roxy also gets added with Shin too, so around the same time frame. So that's kind of a very, very cool thing to see, is that you get to have multiple characters getting added to the game that will be coming later. Roxy also gets kind of added with the most recent Evil Lilia event. Same with Blue Easton and the Swimsuit Mono. All of these came in with the most recent Evil Lilia event. So what's most likely happening, instead of it being the actual Lilia, Shin, and Roxy being added, as well as the Swimsuit Mono, is most likely what's happening is that they're actually adding in the original version of the Evil Lilia event, and they are actually not going to be adding all the other stuff. It doesn't make sense for them to add Roxy, Shin, and Mono and Easton all in the same week, because that's multiple banners that it didn't make sense to like add in like 2 weeks. I don't think they're going to do that, but if they do, holy fuck, they in for some. Wow, that's impressive. I think it's most likely just going to be the normal Mono and Easton banner. Roxy was on her own banner, and so is Shin. But if they decide to do some dual banners or something like that, something crazy, that would be really interesting. But for the most recent Evil Lilia event, Roxy and Shin were actually characters on the Evil Lilia thing. And what I want to say is that since Shin is being added as well to the game, as well as Roxy, they could potentially be characters that are now added for the Evil Lilia event if they start adding them to the game. They add them to the game file so that you can actually fight them potentially in the future. But my guess is they're only going to limit it to 3 separate fights like the original Evil Lilia event, and they were added because they were actually added in the Evil Lilia event. And the reason these assets were added was most likely because the Evil Lilia event, for the most recent variant of it, had all these characters added into the game at that point. So that's my assumption and why they are all in here. All right, make this a little bigger. All right, so we got, of course, Summer Valenti being added too. We got our headpiece cosmetics. One of the things that got added, of course, is the Halloween Nightmare sets, and I will go over these in a completely separate video. I don't have all of them, of course. I can find the stats and stuff like that for the Halloween sets, but the Halloween Nightmare sets, set 1 and 2, are going to be added. You can see the Merlin one right here. I do have that one. The Gotha one was pretty popular. We also have the Christmas sets being added. There's a ton of old things that got added. You can see these Christmas cosmetics, by the way, for Galland. We got one for Monspeet, one for Gloxinia, and one for Melascula, all of which, of course, were really, really cool cosmetics that got added. The other asset that I thought was really interesting we got added was Purging Poo, and Purging Poo is a world boss raid that we will be getting at some point in the future. My guess is in November we're going to get Purging Poo. This is probably something not for the next 2 months. This is going to be in November. The reason I think it's going to be in November is because with all of the month of October we got Halloween, and then this month we have a half-year anniversary, so I'm assuming Purging Poo will have it during that month. It's a 4-man raid just like in the Titan raid. This the newest event set content that just got added into the JP version. It's kind of like a multi-card set thing. These things are really, really good and very valuable. Tons of resources, so super good to have, and very, very good event. It's kind of very similar to the bingo, but better. And of course, bingo. All right, so this event is for Mono and Easton, of course. This is for specifically the Mono and Easton growth event. And this right here is the icon that you're gonna have to click every day for the Evil Lilia 7 Disasters event. You need this for boss mod, maybe. Alrighty, guys, let's go over first unit of the day, which is going to be Shin. Shin, of course, is going to be an area effect damage character. You can see he has an area attack that does weakness. And you can see it does almost no damage on rank 1 because there's no debuff applied. So let's go over his second ability first so we can see some weakness damage. Now, if we go to the second ability here, his second ability is called Volley Fire. And Volley Fire is going to do 150% attack against all enemies and decrease ultimate move gauge by +2. You'll also notice that I'm getting these little debuff stacks here, those buff stabs here, and then I'll see up in a little bit. Volley Fire is going to do 150, 150, and finally 150 at all ranks, which is lame. But as you can see, I ranked up my cards here, which is kind of annoying for the showcase here. So it's really hard to show everything. But you get 150, 150, 150 on all ranks. It's actually going to go 150% damage and decrease ultimate move gauge by 20%, 30%, and 50%. So the damage doesn't really increase at any rank. You get the same damage regardless of the card rank. So you can use this at any rank just whenever you want to. So let's reset the cards real quick. I'm going ahead and use this card right here, and I can't get the cards back. This is such a weird bug. So you only get 3-star cards here? Okay. So now we can restart our stacks here. I have the 2-star card here, which is going to do 110% as well as weak point, which is so funny. It's so bugged. All right. And then finally, the 3-star this ability is going to do 170% and against all enemies. And this is actually, of course, going to be increased, as you can see, from his passive. And his passive is what's bugging out right now. I'll go over his passive in just a sec after we go over the ultimate ability. The ultimate ability for Shin is going to be called Ultimate. It's literally called Ultimate. Is it really? It's called Ultimate, okay. It's going to be the same as King's ulti. It's going to inflict Shatter against all enemies. The Shatter ability is going to do it's 420% all the way up to 630%, so it's the same as King, except without the Fate combination. Shatter, of course, is going to ignore all resistance values on the enemies, and it's going to go anywhere to, again, 420 all the way up to 630%. And the thing that's really interesting about Shin, of course, is going to be the way his character kit works with his passive ability that gives him large amounts of rank ups, as you saw from the cards bugging out. And that's probably one of the things that makes him most valuable. Alright, his passive ability is called Interrupt. And Interrupt is going to increase the attack-related stats of the hero by 8% per stack. She gets a total of 2 stacks, and at the 3rd stack, when there are 3 or more, all the stacks are going to be removed, so it's going to get up to 16%. And on the 3rd stack, it's going to give him the stack, remove the stack, and then remove the buffs and rank up all cards on your team. So you get the total of 16% maximum on these skills, and then you get to rank up all cards. As you can see, the buffs kind of disappear after a certain point, which is kind of cool to see. But ranking up the cards is super bugged, as you can see in the in this arena, so that's kind of funny. Next up, we got the waifu Roxy, and Roxy's gonna have the first ability, which is gonna be not unique at all. It's the exact same thing as Red King's ability, but the main difference is Roxy has way better substats. Red King's Explode ability, where it hits multiple different targets, is the main reason Roxy gets a back name, because the Explode ability doesn't really do a ton of damage, as you can see, versus a lot of enemies. Explode, of course, is gonna do double damage. Basically, it's gonna take all the damage that you just did and actually do all of it on the second turn, or the or the first turn. So as you can see, it goes from 100% all the way up to 150 and finally 200%. And the nice thing about Explode is you can see it stacks. So you can actually get an infinite amount of stacks up to however many you can get. So you can just keep stacking it over and over and over again. And there's a character that works really well about getting lots and lots of debuffs. So I wonder what that character would be. I think his name's Broston. I can't remember the exact name. But there's a character in the game that gives out, it's really good with debuffs. Next character, and the next ability on our list is going to be the same as Green Liz's Cleanse. And it's going to be Magma Break. That's again Magma Break. Magma Break's going to do 220%, 300%, and 400% at max rank, and it's going to cleanse all buffs from enemies. And at rank 3, it's also going to cleanse buffs and stances. You can see he does actually really good damage at rank 1 and 2, and then rank 3, of course, is not as hard as other abilities, but it's still pretty good. The ultimate ability for Roxy is kind of a unique ultimate. It's going to do 700% damage against one enemy, and increase ultimate gauge by +2 orbs after you use the ultimate. So you're gonna get used to. It's kind of like the way that Green Liz's works. You can see there's +2 ultimate orbs at the end here. This works really similar to the way Green Liz works to get 2 ultimate gauge orbs after you use your ultimate, which is really, really nice. It goes from 700% all the way up to 1050. Roxy's passive ability is going to be when the hero deals damage to an enemy with the additional damage from explosion, recover 30% of her max HP and fill ultimate gauge move by +1. Now that makes Roxy really, really good with both an HP and defense set and an attack defense set, so both of which will be very, very good. And of course, she's super waifu. Now, Roxy does have a lot of cosmetics to start out with. As you can see, she actually has, this one has crit resist as well as crit defense here. Very, very nice cosmetic. This one over here is, of course, her other, I think this is her purchasable SSR cosmetic. This is going to have resistance rate, crit resistance, and crit defense. This is going to be one of, this is going to be her actual evolve set. It's going to be 210 defense as well, sorry, 1% resistance, I got distracted again. 1% resistance and 4% crit resistance. This one here came out from the most recent Evil Lilia event. It's going to be 1% crit resistance and 4% crit defense. And this one right here, I believe is, it's either this one or this one is a purchasable UR set, but I don't really know. One of the two. And this one is a 3% resistance rate piece, and it's very, very nice. Over here, we got some weapons for Roxy. As you can see, they have a little chain and ball. It has a little spike ball. And there's the flame ball. These are the ones that come out originally. And then the most recent one that actually just came out, along with the set I'm wearing right now, is this little heart one. Now, Roxy also has some other cosmetics as her Affinity Ward. This is going to have regeneration rate as well as recovery rate. This one right here is comes out with her initial set. And this is her main normal headpiece, as you can see, with ponytails. So if you're into that, go for it. This is for a UR cosmetic for Roxy. As you can see, very nice for the UR cosmetic for the Woman Bun. And of course, the most recent one that we just got with the cosmetic I'm wearing right now. I don't have all the cosmetics for Shin, but I can show you what I got right now. This is one of the cosmetics that you actually get, I believe, from one of the events right here. This one right here is going to be another one with 4% crit defense. This one you get actually from the most recent event. It's going to be 1% crit resist and 4% crit defense. And this one is his actual main UR cosmetic that you get. It's 4% resistance rate. For weapons, you can see this is base weapon right here with 4% crit damage, and the other weapon being 1% crit chance as well as 3% crit damage. Hi, kitty, go burger. How you doing? And then for the headpieces, for the base headpiece right here, you get a 4% regeneration rate, as well as the one you can pick up for the most recent event. For the Evil Lilia, it's 3% recovery rate, as well as 2% regeneration rate. All right, so let's talk about Green Easton very briefly. I don't think Green Easton is going to be coming really soon to the game. I know that there's a lot of hype around this unit, of course, because of how awesome she is in the Japanese version and how much fun you can have with her. But I don't think she's coming right now because this Green Easton is probably going to be coming at a later patch note. Like, she came much later in the game, and they're going to be doing the exact same thing, in my assumption, as what they did with Red Escanor, where his cards got added to the game very early on, and the green one actually got added in really early. And there's a massive gap between the two. I'm assuming that's going to be the same thing for Easton, Blue Easton versus Green Easton, so don't freak out on thinking Green Easton is coming really soon. My assumption is she's going to be coming much later because of how late she came on JP. For the Halloween units, I don't have Halloween Meliodas, but he does have a single target, an area effect attack that's very similar to Camilla, but with very low crit chance. He has the ability to get 10% crit chance every single turn after he takes damage, so it's really bad. And then his other ability, this is the 2x crit damage ability. This is actually an AoE. This is a single target poison ability, kind of like the same as Blue SSR big ass Hellbrum from the actual reward, and it's the same LT as Green Melly. And he does have a different ultimate ability on his actual cosmetic. That's kind of cool. But there's also Halloween Elaine, of course. I'll go over in a separate video when Halloween gets a little bit closer. I don't want to give you too many teasers on everything. We got Halloween coming in, of course, and we got Green Gila. And of course, the other one we got is Green Gila that we all got for free on the Japanese version. So many people have heard me talk about this character and getting her for free. So we all got a 6/6 Green Gila on JP. I don't know if we're going to do the same thing on Global, but as time has told us anything, we might get something completely different, which would be fine, because Green Gila at 6/6 at this point would probably not be the most necessary thing. Getting her 1/6 would be kind of cool. We'd be totally fine with that, especially if we get a lot of cosmetics for more usable characters in the game. I wouldn't really mind getting only 1/6 of her. I'd be totally fine with that. I mean, I honestly don't even use her for any support ever anymore. So, yeah. I will go over both of these units when Halloween gets a little bit closer, just to give you an idea of what to expect going forward, some of the units that got added for Halloween. Alright guys, well, my name is Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did enjoy the video, of course, like and subscribe, all the fun stuff, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace!